I've always believed that the ease of our journey doesn't measure life, but by the courage it takes to face the storms head on, the heartache that shatters us, only to rebuild us into something more substantial and more radiant. Every moment, every breath, and every tear has been woven into the vibrant tapestry of my life. A tapestry that shifts between pain and elation, despair and hope, vulnerability and strength. There were times when I felt swallowed by the darkness of my past, when the weight of my memories threatened to crush the flicker of light deep within my soul. Yet I came to understand that those echoes of hardship were not signs of defeat, but rather the raw, unrefined materials from which the most beautiful parts of our character are formed. I remember the early years as a series of hazy moments, days when uncertainty lurked around every corner and nights filled with silent fears too vast to name. My beginnings were humble and unadorned, a series of experiences that, though challenging, laid the foundations of resilience. Even as a child, I sensed that life was not about the hand I was dealt, but about the choices I made with every card. That inner knowing became a persistent whisper, urging me to hold fast to hope, even when all seemed lost. A lesson that grew into an unwavering commitment to transform every setback into an opportunity for growth. There came a pivotal chapter when I decided to embrace a discipline and purpose that felt larger than my fragile existence. I ventured into challenging realms that demanded both physical endurance and mental fortitude. In this personal crucible, rigorous self-discipline, the unyielding demands of life's obstacles, and the supportive presence of kindred spirits intertwine. In this journey, I shed the armor of pretense and learned to embrace the paradox of strength and vulnerability. Every day, I tested the limits of my resolve, revealing profound truths about the coexistence of fear and courage. I carried with me unseen scars, the quiet adversaries of anxiety and doubt that haunted moments of solitude. Yet, it was within that very darkness that I discovered the transformative power of pain. I learned that every scar is a silent medal of honor, a testament not to battles fought on distant fields, but to the internal struggles that refine our spirit and lead us towards self-discovery. Emerging from this period of intense self-confrontation, I stepped into a world that was meticulously ordered, the corporate realm. I found myself walking through corridors lined with ambition, shining boardrooms where polished metrics and precise strategies measured success. In those spaces of Fortune 50 and Fortune 100 companies, I was more than just a survivor of hardship. I was a determined professional striving to carve out my niche among titans of industry. Yet, despite the external trappings of success, the crisp suits, the gleaming conference tables, the confident assertions, the subtle battles of self-doubt remained. Every meeting, every decision, echoed with the quiet reminder that while accolades could hide imperfections, they couldn't erase the inner struggles that defined who I truly was. In that shimmering maze of numbers and forecasts, I slowly discovered that true prosperity was measured by the moments of inner triumph, by the quiet confidence that blossoms when you dare to be authentic in a world that often demands conformity. It was during this reflective period that I reached an undeniable turning point. A moment when the inner call grew too insistent to ignore. I realized I craved more than merely the structured promise of corporate success. I longed for a mission that resonated with the entirety of my experiences, aspirations, and the deep-seated wisdom nurtured over years of introspection. The spark of entrepreneurship ignited within me, not as an escape from societal pressures, but as a transformative response to them. Every heartbeat surged with the promise of a future defined by passion and authenticity, rather than by conventional measures of success. Taking that leap was as exhilarating as it was terrifying. In the uncertain, liberating realm of building something new, I transformed each stumbling block into a stepping stone, and every moment of self-doubt into a powerful affirmation of my determination. In those tender days of forging my path, the uncertainty was palpable. Each expense, each decision, every sleepless night was a raw confrontation with the unknown. Yet within that very crucible of possibility, I discovered a profound truth. The chaotic energy of uncharted territory, when channeled through passion and perseverance, can shape a vision far brighter than any pre-packaged promise of success. I realized that the entrepreneurial journey was not simply another career transition. It was a rebirth, a reclamation of my own destiny. I was now free to define my narrative on my own terms, to write my own rules, and to allow my vision to be as boundless as the dreams that stirred within my heart. With that newfound freedom came an urgent need to heal. I had carried the heavy remnants of past wounds for too long, and I knew that to build a future of integrity and grace, I first had to restore the delicate equilibrium within my own soul. I sought therapy and counseling with an earnest determination, embracing a space where vulnerability was met with compassion rather than judgment. There, in the quiet, honest sessions of self-reflection, I began to unravel the tightly wound threads of old hurts gently. I learned that acknowledging my pain was not a sign of weakness, but rather a revolutionary act of self-love. With every honest conversation and thoughtful reflection, layers of protective armor melted away, leaving behind a raw, tender core, ready to be nourished and rebuilt. Alongside personal healing, I embraced mindfulness as a daily sanctuary. Each morning became a sacred ritual, a deliberate moment of stillness where I reconnected with the silent pulse of my inner being. In the quiet depths of meditation, when the world around me hushed into insignificance, I allowed every emotion to arise and pass without judgment. In those moments of clear introspection, I discovered that the true battle was not against external forces, but against the inner critic that had long sown seeds of self-doubt. It was from this deep, serene well of inner clarity that I began to understand the true meaning of vulnerability, a quality that, far from diminishing me, illuminated the path to an authentic and resilient life. Physical movement soon became a vital partner in this journey of healing and transformation. I discovered that pushing my body through daily exercise was not just a testament to physical strength, but a reminder that every drop of sweat was a pledge to reclaim control over my life. In the quiet solitude of early morning runs, with the first blush of dawn on the horizon, each step felt like a challenge met. A whisper from my body affirming that I could overcome every hurdle. Exercise was no longer merely a routine, and it transformed into a dialogue with my inner self, a physical reaffirmation that no matter the weight of yesterday, I possessed the strength to begin anew with every sunrise. Amid these profound changes, nothing moved me more deeply than the experience of becoming a father. The arrival of my sons completely transformed my world, casting everything in a radiant new light. Their innocent smiles and unguarded wonder became a constant reminder of the infinite beauty that life holds, even amidst its struggles. In the quiet moments spent gazing into their eyes, I saw a reflection of a future brimming with promise. A future built not on fleeting accolades or material worth, but on enduring pillars of love, authenticity, and the courage to face every emotion head on. Every sacrifice, every moment of self-doubt was illuminated by the profound responsibility of setting an example for them, a legacy of resilience, hope, and unyielding determination. The societal pressures that once threatened to drown me in a cacophony of expectations slowly began to lose their grip. I became increasingly aware of how shallow images of success could erode one's soul, and I made a conscious choice to reject those superficial narratives. Instead of measuring my worth by transient standards, I began to build my identity upon the solid foundation of self-respect, inner truth, and the courage to stand alone in my authenticity. The relentless allure of external validation faded into a mere background hum as I cultivated a life defined by deliberate, mindful choices and moments of genuine self-acceptance. As I continued to weave together the myriad lessons of discipline, healing, and creative exploration, I discovered that my journey was never meant to be a solitary one. In reaching out and sharing my story, its raw, unfiltered highs and lows, I found a beautiful resonance with others who, too, bore their scars and dreams. Each connection, whether through a quiet conversation or a shared moment of vulnerability, reinforced the belief that we are all bound together in this intricate dance of human experience. Every scar, every tear, every hard-won victory is a silent shout that we have fought, we have endured, and we have emerged more brilliantly than before. Every day now is an act of mindful creation, an opportunity to craft meaning from chaos. I fill my moments with deliberate gratitude, writing reflections in a journal that capture not just the milestones, but the quiet victories and small sparks of hope. In these moments of solitude, I rediscover that our greatest strength lies in our willingness to embrace our fragility. It is in our tender, exposed moments that true courage is born, a courage that fuels us to face new challenges with a determined heart. When old patterns of self-doubt threaten to resurface, I recall those transformative mornings of meditation and the steady rhythm of my footsteps during long, solitary runs. I remember the unguarded smiles of my sons and the gentle reassurance that I am enough to overcome, sufficient to create, and enough to inspire. Every echo of past heartache is now a part of a narrative of rebirth, a story of a person who, despite every setback, rose with grace and unwavering determination. I now see my life as a continuous unfolding, a journey composed of both struggle and triumph, where each tear and every burst of laughter contributes to the masterpiece of who I am. The imperfections I once feared have become the windows through which my inner light shines. Each setback is simply a necessary pause before a breakthrough, a stepping stone towards a future where every vulnerability is celebrated as a sign of our incredible resilience. Standing here today, with the weight of my past and the hope of my future intertwined, I feel a profound sense of possibility stirring within me. The storms of life, once seen as harbingers of despair, now clear away the illusions, revealing the true brilliance of the heart. Each moment of self-doubt became a valuable lesson, and each challenge was met with unwavering resolve, allowing me to emerge stronger. My mission has evolved from merely surviving or thriving to igniting a spark within everyone I encounter. A spark that dares them to embrace their unique journey with fearless authenticity. If you ever feel overwhelmed by the burdens of expectation, if the clamor for perfection leaves you feeling lost in a sea of unattainable ideals, I invite you to look within. Listen to that quiet voice that promises you are significant, that your struggles are not the end, but the prelude to an extraordinary rebirth. Embrace your vulnerability. It is not a sign of weakness, but the wellspring of your most actual power. Every tear, every moment of despair can be transformed into the fertile ground from which your most cherished dreams bloom. As each new sunrise invites me to begin again, I continue to live with gratitude. A gratitude rooted in knowing that every day is an opportunity to rebuild, to renew, and to shine with quiet, unstoppable strength. I honor the transformative power of both my triumphs and my trials, understanding that each one has led me closer to the person I am meant to be. This is my journey, a saga of relentless courage, of raw emotion transmuted into creative power, and of a soul that refuses to be defined by the limitations imposed by others. I share these words as a living, breathing reminder that no matter how fierce the storm, the dawn always comes, carrying with it endless promise and hope. May you always find the strength to transform your inner storms into the rich soil of growth, and may you, in every moment of vulnerability and triumph, continue to shine as the brilliant, unstoppable force you were always meant to be. This is not merely my past, but a continuous, beautiful manifesto of hope, determination, and the extraordinary power of the human spirit. It's a living testament to the resilience that runs through each of us. Even when we don't see it, life doesn't always go as planned. There are twists and turns, moments when it feels like everything is falling apart. But it's in those moments when the world seems to crumble beneath our feet that we truly discover who we are. Every experience I've lived through, every hardship I've faced has shaped me into the person I am today. I've learned that the most difficult times often bring out the strength we never knew we had. There's an undeniable power in perseverance, the kind that pushes you to keep going when everything in you wants to stop. It's not about being invincible, but about having the courage to keep standing even when it feels like you're being knocked down with every step. The road hasn't been easy, but it's been worth it. Every setback has been a lesson. Every failure a stepping stone to something better. I didn't get to where I am by waiting for life to hand me a perfect moment. I got here by showing up, by continuing to move forward when I didn't have all the answers, by embracing the journey even when it was unclear. The truth is, there is no finish line. The beauty of this life is in the process, the constant evolution of who we are, the growth that comes from each challenge, and the strength we build in the face of adversity. We're all capable of more than we realize. It's easy to view our struggles as burdens, as obstacles we can never overcome. However, when you change your perspective and choose to see each challenge as an opportunity for growth, you begin to understand that you are far stronger than you give yourself credit for. Life doesn't hand out easy wins, but it does give us the chance to create our own victories, to rewrite the stories we were once told about our limitations. The journey is ongoing, and while there will always be more to learn, more to conquer, and more to overcome, that's the beauty of it. Each day is a chance to prove to yourself just how far you can go. Your past or your mistakes do not define you, but by how you rise above them, how you move forward with purpose, and how you allow your experiences to shape you into someone who is unshakably strong. So take a deep breath and keep going. The road might be long and the climb steep, but every step you take moves you closer to the person you're meant to become. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Let it be one of strength, of growth, of triumph over every challenge you face. And know that no matter where you are in your journey, you are capable of more than you think. Keep going. Keep growing. Keep rising. Embrace your story. Let every tear water the seeds of your rebirth, and allow every setback to fuel the passion that drives you to soar higher than you ever imagined possible. Remember, every heartbeat is a testament to your resilience, every moment a chance to reclaim your inner light, and every new day an invitation to live with unshakable authenticity. This is not merely my past, but a continuous, beautiful manifesto of hope, determination, and the extraordinary power of the human spirit. The path I've walked was never meant to be easy. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I was raised in the kind of poverty that sticks to your skin like dirt, where every day was a fight to survive, and every step forward felt like it could be your last. My parents weren't there. They abandoned me before I even understood what love was supposed to feel like. I never got the protection I needed, the encouragement I longed for, or the assurance that I could rise above. Instead, I was left to face the world on my own, bruised by neglect and battered by a chaotic world that never once offered a hand. Abuse wasn't just something I experienced. It became the air I breathed. It took the form of fists, harsh words, and silent neglect. It ran deep, poisoning my mind with lies that told me I wasn't good enough, that I didn't deserve anything more than pain. Emotionally, mentally, physically, I was torn apart in ways I couldn't even put into words. There were days I didn't know who I was anymore, where the person in the mirror wasn't someone I recognized or even liked. The scars of that abuse shaped my sense of self in ways that made it hard to even imagine being whole again. My confidence was non-existent. I walked through life with my head down, afraid to make eye contact, afraid to speak up. I didn't believe I had the right to take up space in the world. Being picked on and bullied just confirmed everything I had been told, that I was worthless, invisible, and weak. I kept to myself, hiding away in a shell I built for protection, even though it only seemed to trap me in a prison of loneliness. If you tell someone something long enough, they will eventually believe it. That idea, those words, become a part of their inner narrative. I was a kid who carried anxiety like a heavy coat, one I couldn't take off no matter how much I wanted to. Every new day felt like a battle, and depression wasn't just a passing shadow. It was a constant companion, a weight on my chest that never seemed to lift. Each failure, every mistake, became a reminder of all the lies I had been told. That I wasn't enough, that I didn't matter, that I would always be stuck in this cycle of pain. I wore those words like a second skin, letting them shape my identity until I believed them to be true. What I didn't know then, what I couldn't see through the haze of fear and pain, was that those failures didn't define me. I was more than the hurt I carried, more than the limitations others had placed on me. What I couldn't grasp in those moments was that every setback, every mistake, was not a reflection of my worth, but a lesson in resilience. Failure wasn't my enemy. It was my teacher. It showed me where I was broken, yes, but it also showed me where I could heal. It's easy to believe that failure means you're not enough, that your mistakes are permanent marks on who you are. But those failures didn't make me weak. They were painful, yes, but they were necessary. They were stepping stones, shaping the strength I would need to rise again. I wasn't being defeated. I was being molded. Over time, I began to understand the pain, the struggle, the battles. They were not signs of weakness. They were proof of survival, echoes of the past, but not dictators of my future. I had the power to rewrite the story. It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight. But slowly, I started letting go of false narratives. Those voices telling me I wasn't enough, that I couldn't rise. Piece by piece, I released them. We all carry burdens. We all face challenges, some that feel insurmountable. The key is how we respond. Do we let those struggles define us? Or do we let them refine us? I finally chose to allow them to refine me. And in doing so, I discovered a strength that had always been there, waiting to be tapped into. Every failure, every heartache became fuel for the fire inside me. A fire that pushed me forward, that demanded I rise again. For years, I lacked those tools. A simple inconvenience could send me spiraling, my mind consumed with worst-case scenarios. I was fragile, swayed by every setback. But I realized nothing changes until you change. The world wasn't going to slow down. The pain wasn't going to magically disappear. I had to learn how to navigate it, how to push through the moments that threatened to swallow me whole. Resilience isn't just about surviving. It's about learning to thrive. It's about teaching others that peace isn't just fought for, it's given. The world is chaotic. The generation coming up is facing pressures we can't fully comprehend. But within them, I see a spark, a fight that reminds me of the child I once was. And I'm grateful for that child, because he didn't give up. He didn't surrender to the weight. He kept going. And that's what resilience is. It's not the absence of struggle, it's the refusal to be defeated by it. Here's your refined passage with subtle adjustments for enhanced clarity and flow. The pain didn't disappear overnight. The battles kept coming. Daily, often when I least expected them. Some days they crashed into me like a storm, stealing my breath before I could regain my footing. But over time, I started to see them differently. Instead of viewing them as obstacles meant to break me, I began to recognize them as opportunities for growth, moments to prove my resilience. They were no longer signs of defeat, but reminders that I had the strength to face whatever came my way. They weren't the end of me. They were the beginning of something new. Resilience isn't something you wake up with. It's built. It's fought for. It's the everyday practice of choosing to rise, even when the weight of doubt and struggle threatens to pull you under. Sometimes it's in the smallest things. The way you handle frustration, the way you push forward despite the chaos. Each decision strengthens the emotional muscle needed to face greater storms. This version keeps your immersive intent intact while refining pacing and emphasis for greater impact. Let me know if you'd like any further adjustments. We're all still learning, still fighting, still dealing with the chaos, the pain, the trauma. Life doesn't stop for anyone. However, it is the work, the daily practice of resilience that makes the difference. It's about accepting that the job isn't easy, that healing doesn't come in one big sweep. It comes in moments, in decisions to keep going, to keep breathing when everything inside you tells you to give up. It's about embracing the failures because they don't break us. They teach us. This story doesn't end, and neither does the pain. But in the journey, we find our power. In the struggle, we become stronger. I'm still here, still fighting, still rising. And so are you. Every day, we build our emotional resilience by facing the world, allowing ourselves to be human, embracing the chaos, and finding peace amidst it. We're not alone in this. We are all here, learning to survive, to thrive, to live with authenticity and strength. So keep going. Keep showing up. The world is waiting for you to reclaim your power. When I think about the dreams I've carried in my heart, the ones that have often felt so far away, I realize they didn't just appear overnight. They were forged in the fire of failure, rejection, and moments where I could have easily given up. Take, for example, my dream of starting a business. It wasn't something that just materialized. It was something I worked toward, even when I didn't know how to take the first step. It would have been easy to sit back, discuss it, and let the years pass without taking action. However, I had to teach myself the importance of behavioral confidence, the kind of confidence that pushes you to take action instead of just dreaming. Behavioral confidence, I've learned, is the belief in your ability to take consistent steps toward your goals, no matter the obstacles. It's the knowing that you can trust yourself to plan, to educate yourself, and to take meaningful action. It means having the courage to sit down and write that business plan, even when doubt tries to talk you out of it. It's committing to learn the skills necessary to run a business, even when the path feels overwhelming. If your dream is to strengthen a relationship, it's having the confidence to sit down with your partner, communicate openly, and work together to build something more substantial. The truth is, confidence is built on action. You don't just wake up one day and feel confident. You do the work. You make the effort. I used to spread myself so thin, starting things and then leaving them unfinished. I was skilled at discussing what I wanted to do, but I never followed through. It was easier to dream than to act. However, I now realize that true confidence is about consistency. It's about choosing to keep going, even when you feel like quitting. It's about setting a timeline for your goals and committing to it, knowing that even if it's challenging, you won't give up. Behavioral confidence means following through. It means you don't just make a plan. You work that plan until it becomes a reality. The truth is, the road ahead is never clear-cut, and the challenges won't stop coming. But each step we take builds the strength we need to face the next. The key is in the follow-through, the choice to keep pushing even when the obstacles seem insurmountable. Confidence isn't born from avoiding failure. It's born from facing it head on and choosing to rise anyway. So I prefer to increase, and I know you will too.
Get your house in order.
Do it today.
Get your house in order. For Jesus is coming.
No man knows where or when.
Get your house in order.
For he's coming back.
Let me tell you something. You know there's earthquakes, hurricanes, famine, and disease. in order